You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hello and welcome to episode 325 of the Soul Forge podcast.
Welcome to the Soul Forge, a place of silent mystery, quiet contemplation, and outright mayhem. Join your host, Shawn Vanderloo, as he guides you through the adventures of living. Together, we'll talk about life and love, sex and dating, joy and heartache, memories and loss, and so much more. Don't worry, it's not nearly as pretentious as it sounds. Get ready for life, the universe, and everything on the Soul Forge.
Hey everybody out there in podcast land, it's Shawn.
And Leah.
And we have another exciting episode of the Soul Forge podcast. The Soul Forge, a few minutes a week that could change your life. What do you think about that?
Okay, sure, yes.
Does that sound realistic?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you like the new tagline?
Sure. Yeah. I really wish that you would have discussed that with me first.
It's more fun to see your face.
I bet it is.
Yes, it is. Well, I told you we were going to do a preamble before we got into the topic.
Yes, you didn't say that you had a new tagline or anything like that.
No.
Surprise!
Yeah. Got to surprise you for episode 325.
Of course,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we thought, dear listener, for this week on the podcast, since this weekend coming as of the release of this episode, It's going to be Father's Day.
Yeah.
We better talk about Father's Day. Mostly maybe about talking about... Did I just say talking about too many times?
Yes.
I did, didn't I? Yeah. I'm trying to be flowery and stuff. We're going to talk about taking care of our dads.
How's that working?
Not good. Not good at all.
We're going to have a discussion about taking care of our fathers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should we do a discussion about pop culture fathers like Darth Vader?
Sure. All kinds of fathers. We're going to talk about all kinds of fathers.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. So why don't you regale the listeners with what you found out about Father's Day?
Yeah, so I found a brief history of why Father's Day exists, So Father's Day was inaugurated in the United States in the early 20th century to complement Mother's Day in celebrating fathers, fathering, and fatherhood. Father's Day was founded in Spokane, Washington at the YMCA in 1910 by Sonora Smart Dodd, who was born in Arkansas. Its first celebration was in the Spokane YMCA on June 19th, 1910. Her father, it says but it should be Civil War veteran, William Jackson Smart, was a single parent who raised his six children there. After hearing a sermon about Anna Jarvis's Mother's Day at Central Methodist Episcopal Church in 1909, she told her pastor that fathers should have a similar holiday honoring them. Although she initially suggested June 5th, her father's birthday, pastors of the Spokane Ministerial Alliance, Ministerial?
Okay.
Ministerial? I don't know.
Let me see the word.
It's right there. Ministerial?
Ministerial.
Ministerial?
Ministerial Alliance.
Okay, Ministerial Alliance did not have enough time to prepare their sermons, and the celebration was deferred to the third Sunday of June. It did not have much success initially. In the 1920s, Dodd stopped promoting the celebration because she was studying at the Art Institute of Chicago, and it faded into relative obscurity, even in Spokane. In the 1930s, Dodd returned to Spokane and started promoting the celebration again, raising awareness at a national level. She had the help of those trade groups that would benefit most from the holiday. For example, the manufacturers of ties, tobacco pipes, and traditional presents for fathers. Since 1938, she had the help of the Father's Day Council, founded by the New York Associate Menswear Retailers to consolidate and systematize the commercial promotion. Americans resisted the holiday at first, perceiving it as just an attempt by merchants to replicate the commercial success of Mother's Day, and newspapers frequently featured cynical and sarcastic attacks and jokes. But the trade groups did not give up. They kept promoting it and even incorporated the jokes into their adverts, and they eventually succeeded. By the mid-1980s, the Fathers Council wrote that Father's Day has become a second Christmas for all the men's gift-oriented industries.
Well, who knew it's that young?
I really would not have guessed, because I was born in 1979.
You were.
So it was only a year later that it actually, turned into something.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, and what's wrong with sarcastic jokes and attacks?
Why not?
That sounds like fun.
Well, it sounds like they kind of took it and ran with it, right? And
Exactly.
sort of made it part of their stuff and all that. So that's great. Talk about turning lemons into lemonade, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Did you know that if you have lemons but you don't have water and sugar, your lemonade sucks?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think that was a dad joke.
It was. You caught that, eh?
That was a dad joke.
Yes. Well, we're doing Father's Day stuff, so I figured I'd better throw that in there
Throw
somewhere.
in a dad joke somewhere?
Exactly. Exactly right.
Good.
Yeah.
You're
so
a father.
I am a father, and I have been a stepfather. I am currently a stepfather.
You are.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've had many of my children on the podcast. Of course, my biological son, Bishop. Your son, Wyatt.
Who is now your stepson.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Bishop's older sister, Dakota.
Another stepchild of
That
yours.
Exactly. That's right. So there's been a few other ones too that I've taken care of over the years that can be considered partial step something or others for a time. Although those relationships may not have worked out.
That's
but
okay.
That's beside the point.
That's besides.
Yeah. Father's Day is coming up this weekend. I wonder what Wyatt is going to get me.
Okay. You keep waiting on that one.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Same thing my kid gets me.
Every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just in a different color.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I even hear from him, that would be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's the history of Father's Day.
You've had many fathers.
Yes, actually, I've got my real dad.
Yes.
And then I had my stepdad, who was my dad is also my brother Curtis's dad.
Right.
And then our first stepdad, Doug, nicknamed Cannon, is my brother Robin's dad. And then my mom had a third marriage, and Bill was, well, I guess he was our stepdad technically, but let me think here. I think I was 19 when Mom and him met, and they married 10 years later. So I was like 29 or something. So he never felt like my dad.
Right.
He felt more like Robin's dad, because Robin was only like 9 or 10.
Oh, okay.
So that would make more sense.
Yep. Yeah, that would make more sense.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how Curtis felt about it. We don't, after Mom passed, Bill kind of just disappeared. So not really sure where he is. And we know he's not doing well.
That's unfortunate.
Robin's dad died in 2010, and my dad is still around.
There you go.
Yes, and so is yours.
Yes.
Yeah, so after this commercial break for another podcast right here on the ESO Network, let's talk about our own dads.
Love music from rock to soul, from prog to rap, from funk to metal, from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and now? Then check out Modern Musicology Podcast. Join hosts Alan, Stephanie, Anthony, and Rob for a wide variety of topic discussions and interviews with musicians, producers, authors, and more. As always, keep rocking on.
And we're back. Are you ready to talk about some dad stuff?
Well, I mean, I have also had another dad as well.
Let's
So
talk about your dad.
So I have my biological dad, and then my mother was also married a second time, and so I had a stepdad for a little while. I had the same feeling as you. I think I was a little bit older when he came into our lives, and he didn't really feel like my dad.
No.
He was not really my dad. And then I also had a father-in-law. I had a couple of father-in-laws.
Oh.
Yeah. So from my first marriage, right? He had a dad. Yeah. And then my second husband, same thing. He had a dad.
Right.
So yeah, he actually had two dads as well because he had a stepdad and his own father. Right.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then now I have Your dad.
That's right.
Yeah.
I guess I've had fathers-in-law as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. I wasn't married to Bishop's mom, but her dad, he was a miner. He drank wild turkey. He liked to hunt and fish and camp, and he did fur harvesting on his trap line. We had nothing in common.
Okay.
So there was that. And then my wife, Bridget, she had a dad, but he was French and weird.
Weird?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to it's hard to explain.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah, he had his own unique way of doing things.
Oh, okay.
Just a weird guy.
Okay.
The dads of girlfriends I've had never really got to know them too much.
Right.
But I got to know your dad pretty good.
Yeah.
Good old Gordy.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's that. Yeah. I think he likes me.
Yeah, he likes you.
Seems to.
Yeah, he likes you. So what do we want to know about our own dads?
Well, we thought we would talk about taking care of dad.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm still not sure what I'm going to call this episode. I was thinking My Two Dads, because we each have one and they're still alive. And that was a TV show in the 80s or 90s.
That's right.
So that would be a good tie-in.
Yeah.
We could call it No, I Am Your Father's Day Special. Because, you know, Darth Vader's famous line of,
That's
no,
right.
I am your father. So there's that. Or just taking care of dad.
Right.
I don't know yet. Gotta figure this out.
Well, there are all different kinds of dads. And, sometimes, as in your case, sometimes the real dad is not always the most prominent in somebody's life. And, the stepdad becomes the more prominent person in a child's life.
This is true. This is true. I can say that Dad and I did not necessarily have a close relationship while I was growing up. I lived with Mom. He worked a lot. We did go on several trips, and we did work with him sometimes.
Right.
But he was hard to get a hold of. He's not very emotional, so he's hard.
That's okay.
You've noticed.
Yeah.
He's hard to get to know.
Yeah.
But since I've moved back from Timmins to here the last 2 and a bit years, our relationship has gotten better.
That's good.
He's gotten, I guess, a little bit more emotional.
Okay.
He's not doing well health-wise, so he's more vulnerable, I guess, is what you could say.
And maybe he's feeling a little bit of that.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And whenever we're over there, he always says, this is something that I missed out on teaching you, but I can teach you now.
Right.
So he's trying.
That's good.
Which is nice.
That's excellent. Yeah, I like to hear that. That's nice.
So there's that.
Of course.
And then there's your dad.
Yep.
Who has a very affectionate name for anybody that he likes.
Yes. If he doesn't insult you, actually, you'd have to question whether or not he likes you, because that's just the way he is.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So you're taking care of him.
Yes.
I'm taking care of my dad. You're taking care of your dad.
And it's kind of in different phases, right? Like your father is still very much cognitive. He's able to make his own decisions. He's quite well in his mind.
He just can't do a lot physically,
right?
Because he's having some heart issues.
Yeah.
And he was a hard worker all his life. He moved buildings.
Yeah.
Moved houses from one location to another. He built basements. He hoisted cranes. He was a mechanic. You name it, he could build anything out of anything.
Yeah.
And he's got a property full of projects.
Right.
That he wanted to work on once he retired from his actual job. And now he's so dejected, I guess is the right word, because he can't do anything.
Yeah. That's a hard pill to swallow when you cannot do those things.
Yeah, because I'd say he was a very proud man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And hardworking and absolutely.
And I think it kills him when he has to rely on somebody else.
Of course.
Like, Shawn, can you come over here and cut some wood for me?
Right.
Or help me move this. Or
yeah.
Because before he keeps saying, now what takes me all day to do, I used to be able to do all day long.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So he's got no energy. He's got no strength. Like even walking from the garage to the house sometimes wins him.
Exactly. Yeah. So. And he still drives, which is nice, because a lot of people associate driving with freedom.
Right.
Right. So. That's good. My father is slowing down.
Okay,
and
my dad's 70 and yours is 77?
78.
Did he turn 78 already?
July 31st.
So it's coming up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And so, he's slowed down quite a bit. He doesn't, I think he believes that he does more than what he actually does.
Okay.
Smart decisions are not always the best, for him. He forgets things. He'll repeat himself.
Yes.
Although I can get pretty forgetful too. He needs a little more help right now. And this is why we're moving him this year.
Did we talk about that ever in an episode?
Briefly.
Okay.
Briefly.
So your stepmom,
My stepmother, yes.
is in the manor.
Yes,
Which
so-
is an old folks' home, or is it a retirement center?
It is a long-term care
That's
facility.
what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that is about 20 minutes a drive from where he lives right now.
Yes.
And your stepmom owns a house in the town where the long-term care facility is.
Yes.
So we're moving Dad in about a month or so.
Yes.
From his house to her house.
Right.
And then we're putting his up for sale.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we just want to make sure that he's closer to her. So the home that he's moving into is only a couple of blocks away from where she is. So he might be able to visit more often.
Because he goes every second day right now to see her.
Yes.
But it is a 20-minute highway drive.
Yes. 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back.
Exactly. And so eliminating that means he's not on the highway.
That's right.
Because I don't know for a fact, but I'm sure he doesn't pay his attention as he should.
Probably not as much as he should.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so if he's just a couple blocks away, he can just get a scooter and go.
Yes, an electric scooter or anything like that. He doesn't have to worry about a car accident, or at least him driving and getting into an accident.
Exactly.
And a lot of things that he needs is closer, like the pharmacy, the hospital. Neighbors are a little bit closer as well. Where he currently lives is kind of up on top of a hill.
Yes.
And unfortunately, if he were to fall or get hurt on his own in his own home or on his own property, the chances are not great that somebody would hear him.
That's true.
And he is by himself. So I do kind of worry about him in that situation. So I think it's time. And he finally did agree that, moving would be good. Also, my stepmother, kind of her cognitive status really did decline.
Oh, yeah.
And I think poor choices were being made. Like my father's a diabetic, for instance, and she took away the stove. And
She took away the stove?
yeah, but they haven't had a stove in a long time.
Why did she take away the stove?
I don't know. I think she believed it was an expense that they didn't need.
I know she took away his pain meds.
Yep. Yeah, she took away a lot of pain medication. She was worried about him getting addicted to them. The stove was gone, and it just it's difficult to prepare appropriate meals if
I'd never noticed the stove wasn't there.
No, there's no stove.
It's so dark in his house that I guess I just never.
That's the other thing. It's very dark.
And dingy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that this move will help him sort of get some light, and he'll have a stove so he can cook. I've hired somebody who will go probably once per week and just, clean up a little bit, maybe start some laundry, cook some meals for him ahead of time, so that he just has to, thaw something and throw it in the microwave type of thing, right? Myself, and I'm sure my friend Amanda would be more than happy to help as well. Well, our friend Amanda would be happy to help if we want to make him something as well and freeze it and bring it to him.
That's
I
right.
don't think that would be an issue.
It shouldn't be.
No. So I think it's just an overall better situation for him. He would have one level. The bedrooms are upstairs, but there's room there to make a main floor bedroom as well if need be. So he would have the main floor laundry, and
He'll be a lot better off. He'll be closer to things.
yes, yeah, I think so. So, in the end, I think it's better for him. Yeah. And that's a form of me taking care of him, right? I'm making the decision that, we tried to convince him for a long time, and he finally agreed that,
It actually didn't take as it wasn't as hard to convince him as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
That was hard to say for some reason, but
I think he found the value in being closer to his wife.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then you can see her every day
Yep.
instead of every second day or every third day or whatever it turns out to be.
Absolutely.
And in the wintertime, you don't have to travel that highway. And
Exactly.
Yeah, it'll be a lot better for him.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah.
So how do you feel about being your father's caretaker?
I really didn't think that it would happen this quickly, but it seemed to have. I always knew that it was probably going to be me. I do have one biological sister, and then I have 4 step siblings on my stepmother's side.
Right. And they're not in town.
Well, yes, they are.
Oh, I thought they were out of town.
I don't know where from what I understand, one is in town nearby.
Oh, okay.
The rest, the youngest one, I don't know where he is. I've never even met him. And then there's one in Calgary, and we think the other one is in the States, but we're not sure. So they've kind of disappeared, and it seemed to be, I was the one who spent probably the most amount of time with my dad. My sister's more my mom's daughter. So,
Right, because your sister doesn't talk to your dad.
Not really.
Just like
It's
my
very
brother
rare.
doesn't talk to my dad.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, it's similar. Yeah, absolutely. And there's definitely some family dynamics going on there, but, not to get too deep into that, but at least, just for our intents and purposes, it seems like I'm the one who had to pick up the reins.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
And I never expected that I would have to with my dad.
Right.
Like, he's only 70.
Yeah.
I've only been back a couple years.
Yeah.
And he declined almost once I got here, so it was almost like
yeah.
fate decided, okay, Shawn,
Yeah.
you've been gone out of town for 20 odd years. It's time to come back, and guess what? You're going to take care of your dad as well.
Take care of Dad.
And
Yeah.
sure, you guys never really were close or got along that well, but that's all going to change.
Right. Exactly.
It's weird what can happen because I never expected that.
So has this sort of made you think about your future and who will take care of you when you're older?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be you.
It's going to be me.
Or we'll have robot overlords by that point, so it won't matter. I'm not really sure.
AI, maybe.
Well, it's better have a body, because what can it do without that?
Robots.
Yes.
AI robots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of AI robots and stuff, there's a great movie. I don't know if I've made you watch it yet. It's called Robot and Frank. And it's slightly in the future. And Frank is an older man who they suspect has dementia or is starting to. And the son lives out of town far away. And so there's a robot caretaker. And Robot and Frank go on all kinds of adventures. And
Nice.
it's pretty awesome. So it's kind of like a tie-in to taking care of your dad kind of a thing. Just
Okay.
exactly what you said.
Sure.
Does it sound familiar?
No, but it sounds interesting.
It's fantastic, actually.
Yeah?
It's not as sci-fi as you would think it is.
Right.
It's from about 2011 or so, somewhere around that era.
Right.
I think I'll pop it on one of these days so you
Okay.
can see it.
Yeah.
And I
That would be
recommend
good.
it to all of our listeners. It's Robot and Frank with, I think, Frank Langella is the main guy.
Okay.
So
Okay.
mm-hmm.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
there you go. Pop culture dads, you've been watching Family Law.
Yeah, that's a new show on TV.
Yep.
Yeah. I liked it. It was a good episode. I think we only watched the first one.
I think that's it. But,
Yeah.
but basically, it's a dad who has 3 different kids from 3 different moms.
Yeah.
And somehow they all decide to work in his law firm.
Yes.
And it's very prickly family dynamics from what I saw.
Yeah, it seems like there's some tension there for sure. For sure.
What other pop culture dads can you think of?
Darth Vader one comes to mind.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yep. Disney had this thing with dads.
Oh, tell me.
Well, if you have a look at a lot of the movies that Disney produces, especially a lot of the earlier ones, what happened in Bambi and what happened in Finding Nemo, for instance. Cinderella, she didn't have a mother, she had a stepmother, right?
Right.
So moms didn't fare very well in the Disney era.
Right.
Right. And as anybody knows, we like the on the History Channel how Disney built America, and I hope that they do an episode on that. They might this coming. I think it comes out on Is it Sundays? It comes out, and then we watch it on Mondays.
I believe so. I checked, and there's no new episode this week.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they actually did touch on that because. What happened to Walt's parents, and I won't spoil it for anybody, but you should really watch. But what happened to Walt's parents gave him he felt really bad and he thought it was his fault. So anyways, moms did not fare very well in Disney. Usually they get killed off somehow.
Yeah, right, right.
Bambi's mom was shot.
And just like in a lot of the works of Steven Spielberg, there's an absent father.
Yeah.
So there's
Usually,
themes going on.
Yeah, absent parents for sure. So Cinderella, her father was not there. It was the stepmother. that type of thing. So yeah, very odd, the topic anyway, but that's what that makes me think of when we talk about pop culture dads. What about television show dads? Like for the 80s, there was a lot of family dramas,
Full House.
right? Yeah.
Full House, he was without a wife.
Yeah.
Family Ties, that was the pure nuclear family. Same with Roseanne. A lot of family shows.
What about like The Facts of Life or Who's the Boss?
Oh,
You
right,
know,
yes.
it was a dad taking his daughter for a better life,
Exactly.
somewhere else.
Yes. Yeah, Tony was the dad of the house.
Yeah.
Even though he was the housekeeper.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
So dads have been very prominent in all aspects of media, pulp culture, and all of that, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And once again, we could tie this into that classic television show, My Two Dads, which I don't remember anything about other than that I used to see it.
Yeah, I really don't remember much about it either. I do remember as well on the television show Glee, the character that Leah Michelle played, Rachel Berry, she had two gay dads, right?
Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know this.
Yep. And Modern Family is another television show where
right.
there's, two dads.
Right. And how about Three Men and a Baby, as directed by Leonard Nimoy?
Mr.
Mr. Spock himself.
Yes.
It's true.
That was a great movie.
There you go.
3 Men and a Baby and 3 Men and a Little Lady.
Yeah, this is the follow-up, of
Yeah,
course. Can't forget the follow-up.
Yep. I found I actually really liked both of those movies. They were quite good.
Yeah, so lots of pop culture stuff that we could get into further, but this is a limited run episode. We don't like to make them go too long, but lots of interesting dynamics out there.
Yeah.
Who knew that in our 40s we'd be taking care of our own dad?
Yeah. It's kind of something that it sneaks up on you, and to be fair, you don't really know what you're getting yourself into until you have to do it, right?
Right.
Yeah. Our friend RJ, who recently lost his father,
Yes.
He ended up in that situation where he lived with his father for a little while, simply because it was a necessity. There were certain things he needed to take care of to assist his father. And, now he's sort of at that end stage where dad has passed away, and now he has to deal with the estate and settling his affairs. And then, of course, going through, you kind of have to go through somebody's life all over again because you're getting rid of their things, so who is going to get dad's clothes and who's going to get, his belongings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, we were just watching a YouTube video this morning about decluttering.
Yeah.
And the lady said, nobody wants your stuff. I'm like, oh man, I got a lot of stuff.
Right?
My dad has a lot of stuff.
Lots of people have a lot of stuff. And do they really think about that? When you go, death.
It's permanent.
It's permanent, and who's going to have your stuff?
You leave it all behind. All this stuff.
Yeah.
That you have sentimental value and attachment to, and you can't get rid of.
Yeah.
Like even the last few months, helping my dad try to pare down his stuff, and he's like, "Oh, we can't get rid of that. I can make something out of it."
But when?
Well, never.
When can you make something out of it?
It's never going to happen, but it's
Exactly.
just in case.
Right.
Just like your dad. He likes, my dad likes going to auction sales. Your dad likes going through the garbage dump.
Yes.
Which I used to do with my stepdad, Robin's dad.
Yeah.
He was famous for dump picking.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can relate to your dad on that level.
Right. Yeah.
Because you never know what kind of treasures you're going to get.
That's true.
Yeah.
There
so
you go.
There we go. So that is Taking Care of Dad
Yeah.
on episode 325 of the Soul Forge podcast.
Okay.
A few minutes a week that can change your life.
A few minutes a week that can change your life.
What do you think of that?
That's clever.
Not bad, eh?
Yeah, not bad. Where'd you come up with that?
Mark Manson.
Is he a dad?
I don't believe he is.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
No.
That he's aware of anyway.
You know who that is?
No.
Oh, he wrote The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that book.
I have that book.
Yeah. And I get his Monday morning emails. And there's a line in there, something like that. And I'm like, I'm going to adapt it.
Oh, okay.
So
There you go.
I outright stole it. But
Thief.
that's okay. It's a good line, so why not use it?
Why not?
That's right. Yep. So anyway, I don't know if we imparted any wisdom or life lessons to our listeners,
No.
but we told them what's going on,
Yeah.
how our dynamic has been changing with our families.
Yes.
And all that kind of stuff. And we threw out some stuff about pop culture that we didn't really look into very much. But at least they got the history of Father's Day.
Yes, absolutely.
So there's that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we did get some feedback from our Chuck's Roadhouse restaurant review episode last week.
Yes.
Whit seemed to enjoy the fact that we used some local reviews.
Yeah.
And Renee said it wasn't one of our best episodes.
But we want to thank them for their feedback anyways, because we do want to hear it.
That's right.
Yes.
And last week's episode was an experiment to try something new.
Yeah.
So we're going to see how this goes.
Yeah.
And try different things.
Yes, absolutely.
So this was our half-assed Father's Day episode. And we'll see you again next week for something equally exciting.
Okay.
So take care of yourselves and each other, and remember.
Now you know the rest of the story.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Soul Forge podcast. Your support is greatly appreciated, and we hope you'll tune in again next time. Remember that you can visit soulforgepodcast.com for all of our social media links, and don't forget to share the show with everyone you know. The Soul Forge podcast is your best source for living your best life.
Think about it.
Can I help you find anything?
Where is the librarian?
Hey, Frank.
Hey there.
What'll it be? The usual?
I'd be more interested in getting your phone number.
Call from Madison Wells.
Maddie, my girl.
Hi! Has Hunter been coming around?
Dad, you're right in the middle of the road.
Look at this place. This is gross. You have a problem. I brought you something.
Hi, Frank.
You have got to be kidding me. That thing is going to murder me in my sleep.
Somebody's going to murder you in your sleep.
Frank, you need a project. Today we're going to start a garden.
I'm not gardening.
My program's goal is to improve your health.
I would rather die eating cheeseburgers than live off steamed cauliflower.
This is Jake Finn. He's been filling me in on the plans for the new library. It's his project.
You must remember the days when this library was the only way to learn about the world.
Sounds like the same people who stopped coming here want to take away what's yours.
They're going to have this fundraiser party thing on Friday, and all the young hoity-toity couples are going to come.
Sounds awful.
Yeah. Do you want to come with me?
Yes.
Cool.
There they are. Frank, you're so square, you're practically avant-garde.
What the hell did you just say to me? Look at all the jewels. These people are loaded. You know what stealing is?
I don't have any thoughts on that.
I know exactly who the first mark is going to be. Okay, let's see what you can do.
According to your file, you were first arrested for possessing stolen goods.
I specialized in jewelry. That was your best time yet.
I'm getting the hang of it.
We're going to clean up.
I'm glad to see you so enthusiastic.
I haven't felt this good in years. Hello?
Frank, it's me. What's going on in there?
Frank Weld is a suspect in a multi-million-dollar robbery up the road.
What?
I'm kind of in a bit of trouble.
Of course you are.
I gotta get rid of all the evidence.
Frank, my memory can be used against you.
Don't you touch that robot, Frank!
Get in.
Frank! Frank!
You're starting to grow on me.
Thank you, Frank. It's time for your enema.
I've led a very colorful life. I need him.
What do you need him for?
He's my friend.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.